it's really more, I think, of an evolution of you. And so kudos. So that's awesome.
Turn it into a compliment. That's sweet of you, though. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Hey everyone, it is time for episode 3 of the Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kirby Hasseman. Joining me today, Jade Kreider. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I am doing well. The weather is kind of starting to pick up. I made it through, I think, a pretty bitter stretch of cold, as I said. And then I wasn't feeling well there for about 5 days. I don't do that very often, and I think I'm really on the mend. I've still got a little bit of sinus thing, but my energy's back, so I'm doing well. And you said you're rocking and rolling as well?
Rocking and rolling, and it's supposed to get up to 60 degrees this weekend. I am so excited, and you will catch me outside walking the dog.
Catch me outside. How about that?
How about that?
Well, hey, if you've never listened, this is the Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. It's brought to you by Hasseman Marketing. And if you are one of our many wonderful followers, customers, I want you to save the date. We have set our end user, our customer appreciation show for September 23rd this year. It's a little bit of a different date. Usually we're in October, so set that date for September 23rd. We've even come up with we just literally today, right? We came up with our theme for this year.
Yeah.
Which is
Branding Base Camp.
Branding Base Camp. It's an outdoor adventure. We're actually super excited about, because I think we can have some fun with the theme and all that sort of thing. So once again, save the date, September 23rd. We'll be coming up with way more details, hours, locations, all that sort of stuff moving forward. But please put that on your calendar and we will keep the information coming.
You really put me on the spot there. I forgot what our theme was for like half a second because you put me so quickly on the spot. We just met about it 2 hours ago and I forgot completely.
Yeah, no,
Doing great.
If it makes you feel any better, just in case you blanked, I had it written down. So
I was like, hold on.
I hear you. Well, sorry about
notebook.
that. Well, cool. So if you have never watched, Jade is, of course, Gen Z. I'm Gen X, father and a daughter. We talk marketing, and our goal is to help you elevate your merch, elevate your marketing, and do it in a pretty fun way. So that's our goal. We take on several different topics. Some of them we agree on, some of them we don't agree on. And actually, that's kind of the fun of it. And so let's start today. One of the things I wanted to do today was talk about some pet peeves. And this came out of necessity over something that's been happening recently that's been driving me crazy. Jade and I were talking about it. And so we decided to share some of our pet peeves of marketing that I think, at least for me, I'm going to look at it from a consumer perspective, because I think so many times when it comes to our marketing, we look at it from the marketer's perspective, the entrepreneur's perspective, right? As opposed to the consumer perspective. And so we'll share some things that drive us crazy for many different reasons. And if you're listening to this and you want to, please feel free to share yours in the comments as well.
For sure.
So Jade, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'd like you to go first this time.
Okay, well, I'll start because this all started with something that was making me nuts, and it's a recent trend I've seen on Facebook, and so we help people do social media marketing. We do our own social media marketing, and we're kind of platform agnostic. We like Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. LinkedIn, we like them all, but on Facebook in particular, I've noticed a trend where people are at followers. So every single post
at everyone,
followers. And here's the thing, essentially then it makes a notification so that every single person who's following you gets a notification that you've mentioned them in the comments. And I totally understand the appeal, because if you understand the algorithm, not everybody is seeing your posts. People think they are, but they're not. And so the appeal is, of course, then all these people will see. But it drives me crazy. It makes me nuts, because then I see, oh, well, so-and-so company, and I'm not going to call anybody out, has mentioned you in the comments. So I click on it, and no, they didn't. They just have a special on ham and cheese sandwiches that I don't care about. That's actually oddly specific. But stop doing that. It makes me nuts. And I will tell you, now here's what the caveat I'd give, Jade, and again, push back if you want, is if it's a special thing, if it's once a month, once a quarter, you do this because it's
Right.
hey, I want to make sure everybody knows this because we're doing a very special thing. If you're doing it every day, it pisses me off actually. And so I've unfollowed multiple brands in the last week or two because I'll fix this. I'm not an at follower anymore. So that's probably my biggest marketing pet peeve right now. Stop at following everybody.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you said, if it happens every now and again, it's one thing, but as someone who manages a couple different pages, I mean, I have the Hasseman marketing page, I have my own page, I have another page that I manage on social media. So if each of those are being tagged in something, like if I'm following Hasseman marketing on each of them and Hasseman marketing doesn't at followers, then I'm getting 7 notifications that I'm been tagged in something and I've not been tagged in anything. So I'm kind of with you there. I'll go with mine next.
Yes.
Mine is kind of towards our stuff. Cheap products that are useless. I'm so tired of like, well, we have a budget. Okay, cool. There's still stuff you can do within that budget that isn't completely useless.
Yeah.
It's just wasting. It's, Gen Z, I care about the environment. It's crazy. But so I'm tired of the stuff that is just like immediately thrown away. I don't want it. Give me something that I'm actually going to use. Or just don't make me take it. I hate when you go to an event and it's like kind of thrown at you and you're just like, that happened at the event that we just went to. Somebody handed us something and we literally threw it away 30 seconds later because we just don't want it. And it's just, give me something that I'm going to use every single day or don't give it to me. Just don't give it to me.
Yeah, I love
Use your marketing dollars better.
There's a term my buddy Danny Rosen uses and he calls it brand fill. It's the branding that ends up in the landfill immediately. And I think those of us who live in this space, we just want to avoid that. Right. So I love that one. That's a really good one. If you're going to do merch, do quality, do useful, do good.
I don't even show stuff that's cheap anymore because I'm so tired of it. I'm like, don't do it.
And there's a difference between cheap and inexpensive.
Yes. Right? Sorry. I should clarify. Yeah.
No,
cheap as in tacky.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So mine is, and this is one I actually was thinking about for this conversation, is long-winded, pre-recorded messages that you make me listen to in order to give you money. So think drive-throughs, think ordering pizzas. Like, dude, I give a caveat because I also understand the other side. If you give me a short message, so let's just say I'm ordering a pizza and you say, hey, thanks for calling blah, blah, blah pizza. We've got a special $9.99 on a large pizza. And then it rings or then somebody picks up. Great. You want to share an information, but just keep it quick. I feel like sometimes it's like the Gettysburg Address. And all I want to do is give you some money. Can you please let me order some breadsticks for crying out loud? So that's
give me the cheesy bread.
Yeah, that's right. That's number 2. What about
you? That's a good one. I like that one. My next one is going to be a controversial. It could be interesting. I am tired of the big, bright, obnoxious logos. I am all for branding. Obviously, it's what I do. It's a trend right now, and I get that. And I know you don't want to completely go towards trends, but the subtle logos, to put your logo somewhere, whether it's on the right sleeve, but the big neon yellow logo, I'm not wearing that ever. I'm just not going to. Give me something that's subtle that I will actually genuinely want to style in my closet, especially as a woman. I feel like women struggle with this a little bit more as a lot of branded merch is obnoxious or it's a polo. Give me something that has a subtle logo that makes me feel good.
Yeah. And actually there's a trend in design that we were talking about here in the office. That logos, you're actually seeing an evolution of bigger corporate brands going to more understated logos. And so I kind of like that because the cool thing is there's so many tools to do logos, but it makes everybody who's not a designer. And again, this isn't a shot at anybody. It's democratizing the design tools. I love that. But just because you can do a gradient, just because you can do borders, just because you can do that, it doesn't mean you should. So I like what you're saying about.
Well, and I find myself like if somebody gives me something, whether it's from the office or whether it's a free product that I got off the street, if it's kind of like a subtle thing, I'll wear it all the time. I don't care that it says your name on it. I'll wear it because it's cute still. But when it's neon, it almost immediately goes back to Goodwill if you hand me something that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
Brand fill again. Right.
Okay. It's almost like I've got a theme.
Yeah. Okay. So my final one, I'll keep this one quick, is just brand inconsistency. So this probably bugs me more because I'm a marketer than it does
Mm-hmm.
as a consumer. But I do think that if you don't have consistency with colors, if you don't have consistency with a look, if you don't have consistency with a voice,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one I see. Is like, okay, in your marketing, you're really funny, but then when I interact with your website, it looks like a lawyer's website. And then when I call you, you
Mm-hmm.
seem like that brand inconsistency. Sometimes that's subconscious, but that bugs consumers too. So that's probably
Mm-hmm.
my least of the three, but that does bug me.
I love it. I'm going to skip my last one, partially just so we
Okay.
can move on to the next one because I'm excited about the next one.
Okay.
Next, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite products. If you don't know, Kirby and I recently went to Vegas. I think we talked about it a little bit in the last episode. And it is called the PPAI Expo, which is the Promotional Products Association International. And it's the biggest expo and biggest event that we do where we just get to see all the newest, coolest products. And you just get to meet with some of our suppliers and just see what's out there.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about, I'm going to do my top three
Yep. I've got
favorite
three as well.
products that we saw at Expo. So I'm going to
Yep.
let Kirby
And
go
and
first
I
again.
love you. Thank you. I love that you. So one of the pieces of feedback I got was that we do talk in acronyms sometimes. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
you have feedback for this podcast, man, I heard that and I was like, that's a great piece of feedback. And so thank you
Mm-hmm.
for explaining what
And
you're
it's from
saying.
my mom,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. But it's
It's a good
she's
point.
she's really smart. But
Mm-hmm.
anytime you have feedback, we're open to hearing it. So okay,
Heck
so
yeah.
I'll go first. Um, the first one I wanted to give a shout out to is a company called Desk Plants. They had a piece that was called a Live Award. I think this is really
Mm-hmm.
cool. And one of the things I'm going to do is put these so you can see a picture of it down below us here. But it's literally made out of eco-friendly wood, and you can custom do the logo, you can custom
Mm-hmm.
shape the award, but then inside of it is actually live moss, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually do custom colors to the moss. It's alive. And I think sustainability is something that means a lot to a lot of people. And man, it's hard to be more sustainable than something that's actually alive. So
They're
I
also
thought this was,
pretty.
yeah, they look great.
So cool looking.
This was, of all the things I saw all week, I was like, that is different and super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like it was talked about a lot too. It's just like
Mm.
awards are something that kind of go like you don't think people appreciate them. People love awards, and then to have it have that cool alive aspect is really cool. Um, my first one I'm going to mention is going to be the popples. I saw a ton of different options for the popples. My favorite one though is the MagSafe options. It's a trend right now. If your phone doesn't have it, you can get adapters, whether it's cases, and then you can have a pop socket that actually just sticks right on, or the case sleeve that you can kind of suction it to the wall, suction it to the cupboard while you're cooking so you can see your recipes. But I love that these can pop on and off because the popples are nice, but you don't always want them on there. So you just take it right back off. So these are my favorite currently, and they're full color. So duh.
Yeah, yeah, that one was really cool, and that was one that it's funny.
It was a
The
hit.
pops the pop socket was one that happened, and then in my mind, the trend sort of went away, and we
Mm-hmm.
kind of learned that like no, it did not. They're
No.
continuing to grow, and the product is evolving, and so I think that's a really good one.
And you didn't realize how many people wanted it until you saw people swarming that booth there. Like it was,
Yeah.
everyone was excited about it. It was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next one is from my pals at Rupt, which is a supplier. It's the Munix utility backpack, and again, I think it's one of those things. A backpack, everybody can use it, but this one's cool because you've got your traditional backpack, and then the front pocket comes off, and it becomes a crossbody pack as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like two products in one. The other thing that they do is it's a one piece minimum. There's no setups. It is a very frictionless experience. So you can use this for new employee gifts. You can use it for all kinds of different stuff. And that was just one of
Mm-hmm.
those where I was like functional. Plus it's like got the two prong kind of functionality. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool.
I love that. My next one is from our friends at HPG. They are all the rave right now. I know the Taylor Swift bracelets, they're super cheesy. However, they became the other thing that was really popular at Vegas.
Yeah.
Everyone was collecting them. People did it with their name on them. They're simple, like be happy, but these are completely custom. So you can do them with your brand colors. Super fun for an event handout, whether it's a younger or older generation. Everyone had one on their wrist.
Yeah.
Everyone I saw had one on their wrist. They were super fun. And of course, I thought they were cute little handout item.
The other thing I would say about that, and I want to give credit to HPG about this. HPG is a brand a supplier in our line or in our industry, is they made it a point that their representatives, their salespeople went to
Mm-hmm.
all these events and they were handing them out actively. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to do it, I don't think you want to have people, oh, they're going to come look for it. You got to go and be active about it. Yeah. So go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
Jade.
It says, I know KP because Kate Plummer is the best. And so she did these. And so her fan club all wore I know KP. And you can do like your brand colors and each person can kind of have their own that they hand
Yeah.
out. It was honestly so much fun. And then of course there's Silly Goose, there's Stay Alive, there's Delicate, there's, if you want to go cancer, for October, there's so many options with
Yeah.
it. They're super fun. And I just thought those were
Yeah.
an unexpected hit at
Yeah.
Vegas, I feel like.
Yeah. But and again, the execution of it was really key
Yeah,
too.
they
So
did a
I think
great
they did
job.
a great job. All right. My final one will be quick. This is near and dear to our heart. I think one of the things you see is that what is old is new again. And our pals at Simple Signs are doing a crossword puzzle. So anybody and you do full color on the front, anybody who has a waiting room, anybody who has doctor's offices, we're seeing it in healthcare. That is something that all of a sudden people are engaging with your brand on a regular basis, and they're doing kind of that old school, using their brain thing. And so I think it's just a fun product.
My last one, again, I will also keep it quick, is again from Rupt. So a one
Yeah.
piece minimum. It is the Jouncer speaker. I've loved this. When you see this thing in person, it's crazy. Now they have the big Jouncer, which I've loved, but I just haven't got because truthfully it is on the more expensive side. It'd be a gift that you'd give someone. And they now have a mini version of it. And I heard it at Vegas and was blown away by the sound quality, the volume. It was really cool. And now there's a mini version. So it's a little bit more reasonable for you to get for all the events.
Cool. Okay, so those are just a couple things that we saw, and again, we don't want this to be a sales pitch, but this is what we do.
They were
and
cool.
we nerd out about the product, and it's part of our, kind of wanted to share some of the cool things that we saw. If you want more information about any of the branded merch that we do, please feel free to reach out to us. So now we wanted to move on to our next topic, which is something that has been a conversation, I don't know, between Jade and I for a while, is just the debate, I guess, between phone calls and emails. And I think this is just kind of a fun conversation, not only from the Gen X, Gen Z difference, but the idea of what we prefer and what we believe are most effective. And so we're going to talk about this. And then honestly, please feel free to engage in the comments. Let me know what you think.
Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm right.
Well, I'm super curious
to be
to
told
see
I'm wrong.
Where this conversation goes, because I don't think we're as far away as people will think on this. So I guess I'm going to take the concept of phone calls, but I'm going to let you go first on this and kind of discuss which you prefer and why.
Yeah. So it's funny because I actually did speak a little bit about this at Vegas and it became a talking point because I said on stage, I hate phone calls. If it can be done over an email me. And people were coming up to me like crazy. It was hilarious. They're like, I'm going to call you. And I was like, cool. I will still answer the phone. I am an adult. I will suck it up and I will answer the phone when I am told to. However, in my opinion, I can type, I can read. You can type, you can read. Email me.
That's always true.
Excuse me?
No, not that you can't read. So my pushback to this is, how many times are you and I having a conversation where we go, hey, I emailed and no one read it. They replied.
Fair.
They replied.
But they didn't read the whole dang email.
They did not read it at all, right? And so now I think the part that we are a little bit is like, I don't mind using my phone as it was intended, right? Like as an actual phone.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me. That being said, I understand. And to be fair, email is my preferred form of communication, right? But the reality of it is there's a couple of challenges with emails. Number one, sometimes people just don't reply. They don't see it. It goes into spam filters, whatever. But where this discussion really started was, I find that nothing good happens after the third email in a communication. So if you are going back and forth, and let's just use our industry as an example, but I think it's true across industries. If you're going back and forth with somebody about something, and the communication generally doesn't get less emotional and more clear after the third email. And so my only rule is that after the third email, just pick up the phone. Right? Pick up the phone and call it, because so many times you can be like, I just meant I wanted it in blue. Oh. And then literally the conversation's over. Now, what you were talking about was for prospecting, for reach outs,
Well,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
But
and
also I think sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it's also important. I like emails because then I have proof a little bit. And that comes off petty, and I don't mean it as petty as it is coming off, but like, I did tell you this. This has been made clear. I have been made sure, like, sometimes with anybody, there's miscommunications, especially if it's over the phone. And then if I can refer back to an email and go, okay, I think we just misunderstood. Whereas with the phone call, we're going, did I say that, or is that? And I blank on phone calls, so I have to write down everything I say. So
100%. And I actually love the idea of doing the phone call and then a follow-up email to, hey, here's what we
That's
discussed,
where
right?
You got me.
Okay. But the reach outs is, I think, where the disconnect is for me, because I think that I'm sure this is true for you, Jade, but I've had the same email for like 20 years. I get so many cold emails that I literally batch delete. It's literally like shift, click, and it's gone. And so the idea that if you're going to do actual sales prospecting via email, yeah, you might occasionally get a hit, but boy, I think the irony behind it is nobody wants a phone call, but people are getting fewer phone calls now. So it's actually,
fair.
I think, easier to get
more
through.
of an impact. That's fair.
Now, again, I think it's a hybrid thing. It's like, I think there needs to be phone calls. You have to do reach outs to people who are strangers. That's just sales, right? So
no matter what, yeah.
Through LinkedIn, totally buy that. Emails, phone calls, it's got to be a mix. But really where the conversation started was when you're trying to communicate back and forth, after 3 emails, pick up the phone. Okay. All right. So again, like I said, I don't think Jade and I are as far apart, but it was brought up enough that I would love to hear from you. If you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I'm always phone, or I'm always email, or like the other, and this is a total side note, but I believe the person who you're trying to reach, the person who has the power in the communication, whoever you want something from, determines the platform. So I have a customer who only wants to do text. I actually don't like doing business over text. It's just my personal preference, right? But if I want something from him, we're texting, because he has the power in the transaction. And so I'm going to go where he goes. And so that to me is actually the magic.
Well, and for what it's worth, I had a conversation in Vegas, and somebody was like, but if a client wants to text you, you're not text, and you don't give out your cell phone number, you might just miss out on an order because you didn't give out. Because for a while I wasn't giving out my cell phone number. I've now gotten a separate phone so that I can still have my work-life boundary. But she's like, then they can just text you when they feel like it. And I was like, oh, that's a good. She's like, then when they're thinking about it and they just go, hey, we need pens, maybe they'll email you about it later, or maybe they'll forget about it, and then you've missed that order. So you've missed that opportunity. And so it was a good, like, oh, you're right, I should just do whatever they want me to. Yeah. I hate being wrong.
Thanks.
Speaking of, thanks, Paula. Speaking of being wrong, today we are going to do Dad was right versus Dad was wrong. And as much as I want to say Kirby was wrong, today we're going to talk about how Kirby was right. I'm not thrilled about it.
Whoop, whoop.
Kirby was right. If I find the right things, I do like to read. I refused to read so heavily for the longest time, like to the point where it was not something I should be bragging about. And now, as you can see behind me, I now love reading. I've now expanded to self-help, to fantasy, to I'm about to start a Jane Austen novel. Like, I've tried to expand a little bit, and I refused. I said that with podcasts too. I said I hated all podcasts. Here we are.
Yeah. So one of the things I've learned with you, and I appreciate you being willing to, and by the way, I believe that one of the great signs of intellect and maturity is our willingness to be like, you know what, I did think that for a long time, and now I think differently. I'm actually not a person who beats up politicians for changing their mind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you get new information, you come to a new opinion. And I think that's great. When
Mm-hmm.
this conversation started, it was back when we talked about 14, 15, 16 years old. And
Right.
I loved reading, and I talked to you about it. And you kind of were at a space where you were like, whatever I liked and suggested that you would like,
I
you didn't
hated
like.
all of it.
Yeah,
And
you're
then I
like,
refused to read for so long that it was just me being stubborn. And then I
mhm.
picked up one book
That was the
and
right one.
never stopped reading. Yeah, the
That
right
was the,
one. Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah. So
Verity by Colleen Hoover, the most basic book to get a female back into reading right now. And it
I,
worked
yeah,
on Mom too.
yeah, she's reading Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we went on vacation with Josh and Jill Robbins, who you know, Jade, and she got Jill to read it,
Yeah, she gave
and
her
Jill,
my book.
yeah,
It was I lent the book to Mom, and she said, "Hey, I gave that book to Jill." Oh, all right, just hand it. No, I'm just kidding. I've got 3 more copies now, so we're good.
no, it's funny. Okay, so that's cool. And yeah, so I would say that is one of the challenges. I think we make decisions early on in our life, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
give ourselves the ability to change our mind. And so kudos to you.
Thanks.
And I appreciate you saying I was right. But it's really more, I think, of an evolution of you. And so kudos. So that's awesome.
Turn it into a compliment. That's sweet of you, though. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, so we always, and when I say always, it's episode 3.
Episode 3. Here's what we do every single time
Every
for the
single
last
time.
3
Yeah,
episodes of our life.
yeah, that's right. But we like to give a shout out to someone, something, some brand who are doing something good in our region. And before I start with this one, please, if you have something, if someone's giving back, if someone's doing a new initiative, if somebody's doing something really cool, please feel free, message us, put it in the comments below. This is something I get really
Text
excited
me,
about.
call me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. But we get excited about this portion of the podcast because we're just calling out
Mm-hmm.
good things going on.
Yeah.
And so this time we want to actually call out a customer who we're excited about, Shriver's Hospice. So Shriver's is a customer of ours. Shriver's Pharmacy, Shriver's Hospice, Shriver's Foundation, right? Jade, help me out here.
Shriver's Hospice Foundation, and then Shriver's Compounded.
Yeah.
You put me on the palliative care. Sorry, I
Yeah,
had a brain fart there. Palliative care.
Yeah, well, they are a great organization in our region, right? In Muskingum County and all over. Well, they're opening a new office in Coshocton. And I think that hospice care is something that is so important for many people who are getting to that season of life. And so I love, and the people who do that, man, those are angels on earth, in my opinion. And so just want to give a shout out, and so excited to have that service in Coshocton County. They do that in other areas. And so having that here in Coshocton, I'm really excited about. And the fact that they're a customer makes it doubly exciting, don't you think?
Yeah, it's such a good group of people, and I think this is their 12th location. If I did my counting correctly, they have 11 right now, so I believe this will be their 12th location. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's just such a great group of people. They're really cool, and again, it's like you said, hospice is it's a sensitive, hard thing to deal with, and so having a good group of people working with them and doing all the things is huge. All their give back programs and everything like that. So.
Yeah, they do events, and they do like these like Make-A-Wish programs, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really look it up. It is worth
Mm-hmm.
it. We'll tag them in the comments, of course. But kudos
Yes,
to everybody at Shrivers, and we're excited to have you in Coshocton County. So that's really cool.
for sure.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you for kind of coming along for the ride in this Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. We're having a lot of fun with it. The response has actually been kind of overwhelming. We're really pleased with the numbers and the engagement. And so keep that coming, please. If you have anybody we should
Thank
be
you
shouting
guys.
out, yeah, let us know. If you have any topics you want us to cover, let us know. We've done that where if somebody has something that they want us to debate, let us know.
Mm-hmm. And do you like phone calls or do you like emails? Also, let us know that.
Yeah, cool. All right. So that's going to wrap up episode 3 of the Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. As always, it's brought to you by Hasseman Marketing. As we mentioned at the beginning, please feel free to save the date. It's September 23rd. It's going to be our end user show. Pumped up about the theme.
And I'll be in Ohio. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Come see me.
Well, Jade, this has been really fun. It's always good to do this, and we'll have to do it again next week.
I guess.